In the midst of war, I choose peace. In the midst of war, I choose peace. In the midst of war, hate and anger keeping score, I will seek the good once more. I choose peace. I choose peace. When my world falls down, I will rise. When my world falls down, I will rise. When my world falls down, explanations can't be found. I will climb to holy ground. I will rise. I will rise. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, I choose love. In the midst of pain, sorrow falling down like rain, I await the sun again. I choose love. I choose love.
Welcome to worship with Metropolitan Community Church of Knoxville. Today, in our current series, we are invited to share the dream of Martin Luther King Jr., whose dream of justice, equality, and a united country was anchored in love of God and love of neighbor. This is a good word for us in this political season. Before we go further into worship and dig into today's lesson, we want to share with you some things about the life and work of the congregation.
Once again, we welcome everyone, whether you're on site or online. We encourage those of you who are online to say hello in the chat or comments to let us know where you're located. And we want to connect with you. So if you're on site and haven't signed in and put your contact information, please do that. Online, you can privately contact the pastor using the address on the screen or the digital pastor. We want to support you spiritually. So please note our pastor's emails and don't hesitate to reach out. We can't know what you need if you don't say so. All our events and activities are listed on the website as well, so it's a way for you to keep up with things. During this worship and sermon series, we will be digging deeper into Sunday's topic during our Tuesday Zoom group meetings. There's a meeting at 7 p.m. and one at noon every Tuesday. We'll watch a short video and then go into some in-depth discussion questions and conversation starters that dig deeper into what's happening with this series. And today is Potluck Sunday. Exactly. We encourage you to stay for the picnic that we're having today, whether you brought anything or not. There's plenty of food here. And if you would join me now in the call to worship. The type of love Jesus calls us to have is active and sacrificial.
Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you.
God is love, and whoever lives in love lives in God.
God's love does something. God's love unites. God's love is fully present.
Let us act in God's love, present when those around us are treated unjustly. We invite everyone to sing and those online to rise as you're able.
those on Zoom, you might have heard some giggling and things during the song. And we have a special guest because this is Tatum's first Sunday. So we want to welcome you to your family of faith. And church family, would you welcome this child to your family? Let's just pray blessings on. Oh, Tatum, yes. We give God thanks for your smile, for your bright eyes, for your curiosity, for all of your potential, for who you will be in the world. We give thanks. And we ask that God would watch over you, that you would know the presence of the Spirit in your life, in your heart. We ask that God would give strength to your parents as they raise you, love on you, and help you to be all that you are. We thank God for you and excited to welcome you. Amen. Yay, I love little surprises in church. They happen often here, if you do not know that. Well, today we also have another special treat. It's about change. And change comes in lots of different ways. So one of the things that we've had in this church, we've been blessed with very, very faithful deacons for many years. Amen? And they have done so much work. In fact, they've done so much work that we've thought that many of the things that they've been doing were deacon jobs. So when I talk to some of you about being deacons, you go, hell no. Because they've been doing so many things. Well, in our church, as Pastor Bob taught you many years ago, and I continue to say, we believe in the priesthood of all believers, that everybody has a minister. I'm the pastor, but you all are the ministers, right? Right. So we all have jobs to do, and we all can be involved in many different ways. So we're going to change our program. We're going to open up all the different tasks of deacons and create many different smaller ministries that more of us can do. Sound good? So with that, we are retiring the deacon program, and we want to say thank you to all our deacons. We've been sort of thinking about some aspects of this, and then Lois was the first brave one and said, I'm done. When my birthday comes, I'm done. Because she'd been a deacon continuously for 14 years. And so she said, it's about time. So we had some conversations together as the deacons, and sometimes you start a new program before you let go of the old program, but sometimes you have to let go of the old program to get the new one started. You hear me? So that's kind of what we're doing. I know that as a congregation, we will continue to do the good work that we do with or without titles, right? So we will be evolving some new ministries. But today we want to say thank you to our deacons. So would all of the deacons please come forward? You can give them a round of applause even now. You have to come up here so that people can see you. When I asked them how many years they had served, because Lois was clear, she knew. Everybody else had a hard time. Everybody else had a hard time calculating out the number of years that they had served. So we're just saying it's a lot. Because some of them also, I'll use Robert as an example, was a deacon, then he resigned as a deacon to join the board of directors, served on the board of directors for I'm not sure how many years, then left the board of directors and became a deacon again. How many years of service is that? Well, it's all service, but how many years as a deacon? And others have done the same thing, and all of them have additional jobs. Robert does the bookkeeping, Carrie is lay delegate, Kathy does the newsletter and the attendance monitoring. Lois heads up the decor team, and CB heads up the food pantry. Hello, that's a lot of stuff. So we want to give them a small token, and it is just a small token of our appreciation, because there's nothing we could give you or say that would be enough gratitude for all you've done for this church. You've got it through hard times Amen?
Yes.
And transitions?
Yes.
Amen. And you're still standing. And the church is still standing because you have stood faithful. Now hear that. The church is still standing because you have stood faithful. So we want to thank you in a small way. So Lois has how many years of service, and the rest of yours, I left the years off there since we weren't sure. But it says, in deep gratitude for your many years of service as a deacon with Metropolitan Community Church of Knoxville, you have been a blessed example of dedicated Christian service and compassion. So Lois, thank you. Keep it going. And CD. And Robert. And Karen. One more time. Thank you. I'll help you down. Sorry. Use the pulpit, it's pretty solid.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was often called an extremist when he gave speeches or participated in marches for civil rights. It's a word that carries a lot of baggage. Depending on the context, it might describe someone who's capable of acts of mass violence or terrorism. Almost always in Dr. King's case, the term extremist was intended as an insult. But he took this baggage-laden label and flipped it on its head. Here's what he had to say in his letter from the Birmingham jail. Though I was initially disappointed at being categorized as an extremist, as I continued to think about the matter, I gradually gained a measure of satisfaction from the label. Was not Jesus an extremist for love? Love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. So the question is not whether we will be extremists, but what kind of extremists we will be. Will we be extremists for hate or for love?
Dr. King gave me just the example that, you know, it's better to be on the right side of history, even if you're on the wrong side of the current state of things.
I have been inspired by his life to try to leave some footprints, some laudable footprints, hopefully, because of his example. I would watch on television as he would go to jail for what he believed. It was a man who had a PhD and had all kinds of other options, and yet he said, those who haven't found something worth dying for are not fit to live.
If we look at, the commandments, first and foremost, we are commanded to love God and to love each other, right? To love your neighbor as yourself. And so I think that even when we look at his approach to making these strides without using any violence, making these strides in peaceful measures and means, I think that that's biblically based.
What is love? Really? And as followers of Christ, what does it mean to be people of love? Or in the words of Dr. King, what does it mean to be extremist for love? The word love may be the most overused, ambiguous word in the English language.
All the other virtues we've discussed in Share the Dream, conscience, justice, freedom, perseverance, hope, they all exist as byproducts of love. So love must be the foundation of every effort to heal and restore racial relationships.
In his 1957 sermon titled, "Loving Your Enemies," Dr. King proclaimed, "Somewhere somebody must have a little sense, and that's the strong person. The strong person is the person who can cut off the chain of hate, the chain of evil. Somebody must have religion enough and morality enough to cut it off and inject within the very structure of the universe that strong and powerful element of love.
Love is not just an emotion. It's not something you feel in your stomach. It's a choice. It's a choice to sacrifice yourself for the betterment of other people. It's a choice to, in the face of hatred and people having negative things to say about you, you not responding in kind, but seeing them as image bearers, as people made in the image of God, and loving them in light of it.
Jesus of Nazareth said, love your enemies. He was talking about agape love. And agape in the Greek is understanding, creative, redemptive goodwill for humanity. It is an overflowing love which seeks nothing in return.
What happened is that some of our philosophers got off base. And one of the great problems of history is that the love and power have usually been contrasted as opposites, polar opposites. So that love is identified with a resign power with a denial of love. It was this misinterpretation that caused the philosopher Nietzsche, was the philosopher of the will to power, to reject the Christian concept of love. It was the same misinterpretation which induced Christian theologians to reject Nietzsche's philosophy in the name of the Christian idea of love. Now, we got to get this thing right. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best. Power at its best is love, implementing the demands of justice.
I'm going to invite you to rise again and sing the power of love. Power of your love. I come to you, let my heart be changed, renewed, flowing from the grace that I found. Weaknesses I see in thee, away by the power
If you don't want what you share to be read aloud, just print plaster. She pastor on the top of the page. Please share your prayers and your financial offerings as we are blessed this morning by Mr. Gary Williford.
So about this song, it's the last time I sang, somebody in our congregation came up and asked me if I knew this particular song, and I didn't know it, and they asked that might I learn it and maybe sing it sometime. So this is going to be it, and I just wanted to say about, there's a couple of things that really stuck out to me in the song, and one of them was an expression, I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it's called, if you spot it, you got it. And if you don't know what that means, it just irritates you and just really gets under your skin. If you can identify that's really causing you the problem, chances are you've got some form of that yourself, if you can look within. And then the other thing that came to my mind was, we always are, and especially now in this day and age, and I think especially at this age I am now, we like to think we've got it all together, and we do, right up till we don't. Ain't none of us ever been perfect. Yeah, the truth. We're all in such a hurry to be the judge and jury when we all got sins of our own. Everybody drop your stone. And sometimes I'm the one I beat up the most. Heaven only knows the hell I put my failures like a ghost. But touch me the way I always do. Ain't none of us ever. Ain't none of us ever been perfect. Yeah, the truth is there's only one who ever was. We're all in such a hurry to come. Aren't they heavy? Oh, so heavy. Drop your stones.
Thank you, Gary. We could probably all drop a stone or two, huh?